Hello everybody, it's Fern. Thank you so much for joining me for another Plenty video. Today we're going to be talking about all of the grow lights that I am currently running in my home. A grow light tour, if you will. As many of you know, I live in the Pacific Northwest up in Canada, and we have a long, dark, gloomy winter, very rainy. It's actually pouring rain out today, which is kind of perfect. Perhaps one of the only videos that is perfect filming weather because it's gonna showcase the lights a little bit better because they're not having to compete with sunlight. So even though I have these big south-facing windows in this living space, it is often still very dark in here, and I need the assistance of artificial lights to grow a lot of my plants. Also, this main part of my house is the only area that really gets good natural light. There's not good natural light in any other room of the house, which is why the majority of my plant collection is all like crammed into this living space here. I am not a grow light expert. I am not a super techie person. I don't have a light meter. I don't know all of the specs about every single light. I have dug up some basic information and listed the features and stuff of the lights that I'm going to be talking about. But overall, I'm just not a techie person. So I'm going to be coming at you just from the perspective of, I guess, the average consumer, the average houseplant enthusiast. I do have a lot of lights. I have 34 grow lights running in my home, which is kind of crazy when I calculated that out. I knew it was around that number, but yeah, that's a lot of lights to be running. I've been using grow lights since almost the beginning of my plant journey. So it's been about 5 years of trial and error with different grow lights. I think that I'm currently using 7 different brands. So we're gonna go through all of the pros and cons and just what my general experience has been with growing plants under each particular light. Also, I wanted to note that almost all of my lights are set up on automatic timers. So I either use the Casa power bars, which is just goes through Wi-Fi, and I can control that with my phone. Or I have like the manual little timer things where you push the little buttons in, if you know what I mean. Or some of the lights actually have a built-in timer that's like on the little power thing on the cord. So I use that for some of them as well. But for the most part, I don't really have to turn all of these lights on and off every day. They just turn on automatically, with the exception of a couple of them, which I'll point out to you. Other than that, is that everything I wanted to say? They're all LED full spectrum grow lights, as far as I know. LED is the most cost-effective, like energy, what's the word? Lowest energy consumption, I guess. They're the ones that are the cheapest to run. I'm sure that having this many grow lights definitely has an impact on my power bill, but for the most part, LEDs are pretty cost effective. I will put chapters for each light, so if you want to reference back to this video to check out my thoughts on any particular light, then you can just reference this video back and just click right to where you want to go. Other than that, let's just get started. I think I'm gonna start with my vittsjo plant shelf setup here behind me, so let's hop over there. Okay, so let's start here. This is my largest like plant setup area in my home. It has the most grow lights. It's also one of the newer setups, and all of these lights are relatively new to me. I've had them set up for less than a year, so keep that in mind. All of this shelving is from IKEA. I can link the video where I did this setup in down below, so you can check it out if you want more information. But all of the strip lights that I have on each of the shelves here are barrina T5s. I have a combination of the 1-foot option, which you see over here, and then on the wider shelves, I have the 2-foot option. Which is something that I like about barrina, is that they have like different size options. I think that they even go up to a 3-foot one as well. I also have a Rousseau grow light over the middle there, which is also very new to me. Actually, probably one of the newest lights to me in my whole collection. So we'll talk about that one after, but right now I'm just going to talk a little bit more about barrina. By the way, there's going to be some information on the screen as far as wattage and current price goes. However, keep in mind, a lot of these lights are from Amazon, and Amazon often does like the little coupons, and prices will fluctuate on there. So I would just, keep your eye on anything that you're interested in. When I was compiling this list, I did notice that a lot of them have current deals or coupons available. So yeah, I'm gonna have, I think, wattage and price, current price on screen for all of these lights so that you can kind of get a better idea. But the reason that I decided to go for barrina lights for this shelf is because number one, well, actually there's a few reasons. Number one, I've just heard a lot about them. They're really popular in the houseplant community. It seemed that a lot of people use them, so it was kind of in my mind as a more like reliable, or, you know, I just heard good things about them. And secondly, they're affordable. These are some of the most affordable grow lights, especially in my home. I definitely have a variety of a big price range, I guess. I have some very expensive grow lights and I have some more affordable options like these ones. But I wanted something affordable since I was going to be putting so many of them on this shelf. Like, this is a big, I think there's 16 lights in total on this shelf. So I needed something affordable, and I also wanted something that was going to be able to daisy chain, like this, how I have 2 bars connected here, so I don't have to put a cord for every single light bar, just to reduce you know, the cables and everything. These can also directly connect to each other. Like, I could combine 2 1-foot lights to make a 2-foot light. I don't think I have any connected like that right now, but I do have all of these daisy chained together on each shelf. So I really wanted a light that was going to be able to do that, just for cord management. The barrina lights are also available in different color temperatures. I have the yellow option, and on screen for some reason it comes off really cool. It almost comes off pinkish, at least that's how it looks in my viewfinder right now. But in person, these are a very warm, just like cozy yellow. Yeah, I really love the color of these lights, I will say. It's a very beautiful, just golden light, and it does give a cozy little vibe, which I appreciate. But they do come in like a pink white light option as well, and maybe another light option too, I don't know. Also, as far as their options go, they also do now offer I think the 1-foot lights in a black casing option, so it's all black instead of white, which I wish I had. I hate the white on the black shelf. I mean, it's like a minor thing, but if that would have been available when I was doing this setup, I probably would have went for that, but I didn't know it was a thing. I don't even know if it was a thing or like how new that is, but I can only find the black version of these in the 1-foot option and on Amazon.com, not on Amazon.ca. So I don't know if they're going to expand and offer all of their lights in a black option. If they did do that one day, I'd consider switching these out and just selling these white ones and switching them out to black, because I do think that would look nicer. But I know a lot of y'all have white setups anyways, so the white light perhaps isn't a con to you. I've made like pros and cons lists for all of the lights, so I'm just kind of double checking that right now. So for pros, I wrote affordable, connectable / daisy chain. Oh yeah, they have light switches on each of the bars, and I really like that. I think these are the only like bar lights that I actually own that have this, and it's so handy because I don't have to go digging around there is a switch on each of the cords, but I don't have to go digging around back here to find it. And I don't have to like deal with like, you know, my timer outlets and stuff. So it's so nice. Like, for example, yesterday I did a pest treatment and on these guys right here actually, and I needed to have the grow lights off while it dried because I didn't want them to burn. So I was able to literally just switch these bars off just so easily. It's such a small thing, but I do really appreciate that about these lights. Oh yeah, and also, if you couldn't see, I do have 2 on each shelf, so 2 of the 2-footers on each of these shelves. I don't know if I didn't know that there was 3-foot ones or what, but I feel like I could fit a 3-foot. Like, the 2-foot doesn't, do you see how it doesn't go across the whole shelf? I feel like I should have put the 3-foot ones there. I don't know why I didn't, or if that wasn't available at the time or what, but anyways, I do have 2 bars per each shelf. Okay, continuing on with the pros, I wrote good option for large setup, like I said, and different color temperatures available. Now for cons. So I have had mixed feelings about the performance of these lights. However, I think that I'm liking them more now than I was in the last few months. At first, I really wasn't sure about them. I've had a couple of plants rot under these lights, but I will say that was probably my fault because one of them was a small plant that was on this shelf and the light is like way up there. So I think it was just too far. So I've had a couple of plants rot like that, and I have had a couple, like some plants get bleached from being too close, I guess, to these. So I have found that there is a bit of a sweet spot, or you kind of have to keep your eye on the plants. And it's kind of, I don't know, I guess I just find them more finicky in that way than I do a lot of the other lights that I own. Like, you need to find the right distance away from them to have your plant not rot and not burn. That was my experience. However, over the past few months, now that I'm kind of figuring that out, like I've started boosting some of my plants up more, like my alocasia down there, for example, it's on it's on an upside down pot to kind of boost it closer to the lights. And I've just kind of been playing around to just figure them out a little bit more and figure out which plants do well under these. I find that a lot of my Hoyas do well under these, as long as they're not too far. Like they're fine on this shelf, this distance, but not where the shelf is taken out, you know? That's like those plants probably aren't even really getting that much light, the ones that are down at the bottom there. But a lot of my Hoyas lately have been just thriving under these. Like, look at this Crimson Princess. Look at that color that it's getting, and it's not even boosted up or anything. Like, it's just, like, it's truly not that close. And it's getting this stunning color. Look at how dark these leaves are right here. Like, that is just crazy. So yeah, my relationship with them, and also all my Anthurium seedlings, I do have those boosted up pretty close to the light. Like, you can see there's not much distance between. But yeah, overall, I'm starting to like these lights more. I think that maybe some of the reason that I was struggling with them so much before was just kind of user error and not putting the plants appropriately distanced, I guess. And I've also just been becoming more consistent with my plant care and my watering and everything. So obviously plants are just going to thrive more when they're getting better care. So I think that maybe that plays into it as well. Like, maybe I really just was neglecting my plants so much before, and I was kind of blaming it on the light when it really wasn't the light's fault so much. Yeah, overall, they're okay. Are they my favorite light? No. But do I think that they're a good, affordable option? Yes. Okay, so now for this stunning light that is hanging in the middle section here, casting this angelic glow on my Anthurium there. That is my Rousseau plant care light, which is the newest to my grow light collection, I suppose. So I'm not super experienced with it. I don't have a ton to say regarding its like long-term. Oh, is my phone ringing? Shoot, just a sec. Okay, not sure where I was, but yes, this light is relatively new to me. So as far as how it's working with my plants or like different plants, I don't really have too much to report. However, my Anthuriums seem to be really enjoying it. I do have some new leaves coming in on them, and this light's probably been up for a couple of months now. There's another new leaf down here as well. If you've been on my channel for a little while, then you would know that I just love Rousseau Plant Care as a brand. I love their other products. So I was very keen to try out their grow lights and see what they have to offer in that department, which is why I opted for this one. And it also just has some cool features that I liked. One of them is that the beam is adjustable, so you can actually twist this part, the bottom of the light, and create a wider beam, which is going to be a little bit softer and cover a wider like area of plants. I think that mine is on the wide setting right now. Or you can twist it and create a more narrow beam, so that would work well for if the plant was a little bit further away and you really wanted to concentrate the beam. It would be a little bit more intense. So it just kind of, it depends on your setup, and it's versatile in that way, which I appreciate. I'm also utilizing a little clip to tilt the light a little bit, you can see, so that it's not just hanging straight down and half the light would be like wasted. It's actually facing, like fully facing the plants, which works better for them to utilize more light, but it also just looks kind of nice the way that it's shining on them. So I just have a string and then a little, actually like a little earring hook that I used to hook onto one of the slots in the light there. So I really like that I'm able to do that. And I really like the wood mount that this is on as well. I feel like it comes out a perfect distance from the wall. It looks gorgeous, and yeah, it's Rousseau stuff is just chef's kiss, honestly. So I'm sure that this light is going to perform well over time. And as I kind of experiment with it more, I'm going to have more to update, but so far I like it, and I like the features and the mount and everything. I just think it looks so good. Oh yeah, and how I was talking about most of the lights being on timers, most of them run for 13 hours a day. So I think actually this Rousseau one, I think just runs for 12, does it? I was worried about giving these Ethereum too much light. That's why I think I put that one a little bit lower. But all the other ones, like my barrinas and all these other lights that you see, I think that those all run for 13 hours a day. In the growing season, I usually increase it to 14 as well for most of my lights. So the range that my lights run on is between 12 and 14 hours. Also, color temperature for the Rousseau light, it's not super cool. It's kind of like, I call it my middle of the road kind of temperature light. It's not as warm as the barrinas or as my Soltech, which we'll talk about later, but it's not like super cool either. My Mother plant spectrum lights, if you're familiar with those, which we'll talk about later again, those are quite cool. The Rousseau is warmer than those, but not as warm as my Soltech or my barrinas. The difference isn't really like, it isn't jarring or anything in person. Like it still looks kind of nice and cohesive, this whole setup. Okay, so we're just gonna shuffle over here beside the vittsjo shelf to my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. Again, I have a whole video setting up this cabinet with these current lights. Oh, I'll have to turn my fans off too. I also have my fans on the Casa app, so you can see like I have all my not all my lights, because some of them, like I said, are on the manual timers, but I have a lot of them on here as well as my fans, so I can just turn everything on and off super easily from my phone. All right, so in here we have my Mother Plant Spectrum 16 light bars. I have 2 of them in this cabinet, 1 on each level. Kind of suspended. This one is just zip tied onto this metal shelf, and then the top one I think is magnets. Yeah, I have magnet hooks holding this one up. Again, I'll link the video where I set these up if you're interested in more info. What I like about these lights is that obviously they're super sleek, they look really nice, they match this cabinet really well, like it looks very cohesive, they're very high quality, it's a nice aluminum body, and yeah, they look and feel like they're made well. They're also waterproof, which is something that I was really keen on when picking out what lights I was going to put in this cabinet, because obviously since it's a greenhouse cabinet, it does get quite humid. So these are, I believe, IP65 rated waterproof. I've had 0 issues with these lights. I really like them. I have several plant spectrum lights that you'll see throughout my house. They do have, I believe, a 4-year warranty, and something that's cool about this brand is that they have replacement parts, so you can actually replace the LED board whenever it dies. So they're more sustainable. You don't have to get rid of the whole light. You can just, replace whatever part needs replacing or replace the LED board. So yeah, I really like that about them. However, these are very, very pricey lights. So that is the first thing that I have as a con. I think that these might be the most expensive lights that I have. Definitely the 32s. I think that these are maybe the most expensive ones. Okay, excuse the train, but another con, oh my goodness. Another con is that these aren't able to tilt or anything, which there are some other light bars coming out now that can tilt, and I wish that these could. I've tried to kind of set them up so that they're slightly tilted back, because I would like it if they could be more facing the plant so that the leaves are more inclined to kind of face outwards in the cabinet, if you know what I mean. But I mean, that's kind of a nitpicky thing, because honestly, these work great. I feel like the amount of coverage that they have is pretty good. Like the plants at the back are getting a lot of light, and also the plants at the front are getting a good amount of light. So yeah, overall, I'm happy with these. They're sleek, they feel really high quality. Yes, they have a big price tag, but I feel like this is a product that's gonna last me a really long time, and then I can just replace the LEDs whenever I need to do that in the future. Oh, and I forgot to say, but obviously I will have everything linked down below in the description box, all of these lights if you're looking for them, and any discount codes. Some of these lights I do get a kickback for if you purchase through my link or use my code. Some of them I have just a code for and I don't get anything, like I don't get any commission from this, but I think that I do have a code for Mother if you're interested in these lights. But yeah, just so you're aware, some of the links Some of them I get a commission, some of them I don't. Some of them just have a discount code. Oh yeah, and like I was saying, these have a pretty cool temperature. As you can tell, like even on camera, it looks quite cool, and they are definitely probably the coolest lights that I have temperature-wise in my home. Okay, so down here we have another Plant Spectrum light, but this is the Plant Spectrum 32. So very similar, except for this is 32 inches and 32 watts instead of 16 inches and 16 watts. So the same features apply to this one as well. Oh yeah, did I forget to say this? I don't remember. Something that I wanted to say about Plant Spectrum lights is that they've never burnt my plants. Like I have had plants grow basically right under them and they do not burn my plants. And I've heard other people have the same experience. So it's really nice that I'm able to utilize like shelves and having plants super close to them without worrying about them getting burnt. Like I said, was a problem with my barrinas. So yeah, I can have plants like up close, I can have plants lower down, and I still feel like they're getting a good amount of light. Like all of my plants in this lower section grow really well. All of the plants closer up grow really well. So I feel like I just wanted to point that out because, yeah, that's something that I really like about them is that they haven't burnt my plants. Okay, yeah, back to down here. So basically the same thing, but this is another example of how you can use them. So this one is standing up vertically, as you can see, which is another cool thing about these lights. You can mount them different ways or like set them up different ways. So I do have some of them standing up vertically in my home, which is a very convenient way to be able to have grow lights, and they look really sleek, they look really nice. I love having lights that can be just facing my plants, which is nice. I do wish that they were a little bit taller. I know that Barrina has an option for vertical light now, which is an affordable option that you might be interested in. I think that one is 4 feet tall, and it also has a wider base, which is kind of nice because that is a con with this. It's very easy to knock over. I've knocked these over so many times. Luckily, nothing's happened to mine. Like all of them still work great and I haven't had any problems, but I've knocked these over lots, especially the one in my living room. But yeah, this one just kind of mostly gives light to my monstera dubia there. I do have my verrucosa plant that's kind of figuring itself out right there. But yeah, it's great for just, adding extra light to a space like this. Okay, so over here we have my Sansi tree lamp. So this is just a regular tree lamp that I got off of Amazon a while ago. It's just like a regular lamp that I put grow bulbs in. So it only has 2 bulbs in it right now, I think. Yeah, that one has nothing in it, but I have 2 Sansi bulbs. I think that they're the 15 watt bulbs in these ones. And I've been using Sansi bulbs for years now. They were one of the first grow lights that I ever tried. I know I've replaced a couple of them by now that have burnt out, and I really like them. I think that they're a great budget option. Apparently, they also have a 5-year warranty, which I just saw when I was looking these up on Amazon, which I didn't know about. I feel like I've had some of mine burn out before 5 years, so maybe I'll have to keep that in mind and reach out to them. But they work great, and it's so easy because you can utilize any lamp. It's just a regular E26 bulb base, so you can screw this into any fixture or whatever, and that's just like super convenient. And I kind of love this tree lamp setup. I mean, is it kind of in the way sometimes? Yes. But does it work great to supplement light to this little plant shelf here? Yes. So I'm fine with it. For cons for this one, what did I write? Oh yeah, these have been known to bleach or burn my plants if they're too close. I find Sansi lights to be very strong, which obviously can be a good thing and a bad thing. I find that they grow my plants really well. I just put my Mycoliziana up here and she is pushing out a new leaf right there, so my plants love these lights, but if they're too close they will bleach. Like this leaf might even be getting a little too close there, so I kind of have to keep an eye. Oh, I guess this one's empty, so maybe it's not that bad, but yeah, I definitely have to keep an eye on whether plants are getting too much light from those bulbs. But I mean, I'd rather them give too much light and me have to deal with that or like back them up than not being strong enough. I would say that these also have a kind of neutral color temperature. It's not super warm, but I don't think it's as cool as my mother lights either. I mean, I guess maybe it is kind of on the cooler side. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a neutral light, I guess. And then I also have a Sansi clip light clipped onto my tree lamp here, which is something that I did like oh, I don't know, a few weeks ago or a month ago, because I wanted to boost the light up a little bit higher, specifically for some of my moss pole plants. I have my Cebu Blue here, which is getting some light from this. And I used to have some other taller plants here before I took those poles down. But yeah, I was just finding that obviously the tree lamp wasn't tall enough to get to the top of the poles, so that's why I added this guy on here. So I have a couple of these little guys now, and I got them because I kind of like how you can just get creative with where you clip them and how you kind of set them up. I have two of them, and I used to have my other one clipped onto my begonia thurstonii trellis. So I just had it perched on the trellis, and then it was kind of just providing light to the plant from above it there, which worked really well. I've since moved that plant, so I don't have that one there anymore. But yeah, and then I decided to clip this one on here, and yeah, I just love that there's kind of options of where you're gonna stick it, and you can kind of just like, you know, jimmy it however you want it to be. It also, in typical Sansi fashion, seems to be really bright. I had to turn it down a couple notches for my begonia, which is nice that it's dimmable. This is the switch that it comes with. It also has a built-in timer, so I have it on the 12-hour timer. But you can dim the light with that button, and yeah, it's pretty handy, honestly. For cons, I put that it is pretty small, which it is, like in comparison to my hand. I don't know how well you can see, but it's just like a small little thing, so it doesn't provide light to a huge area. I'm kind of using this just to supplement a bit of light, so it's fine, but I feel like this type of light is more suited for like one plant. Like, I think that it's actually meant to be clipped onto the like lip of a plant pot, and that's how people typically use them. So I think it'd be great for, you know, a single plant, or maybe like a collection of small like cactus or succulents or something to supplement light. But yeah, overall it's a decent little light. Okay, and then down here I have my Soltech Grove light, which again, I have a whole video where I unboxed this, set this up, and just kind of talked about it a little bit more. I'm a huge fan of Soltech, so I was really excited to try this out when they came out with it, and it does have some pretty cool features. So probably the thing that I like one of the things that I like the most about this is that it can actually swivel 360 degrees. Which is so handy because you can have it, like how I was talking about how I wish the ones in my cabinet could tilt backwards. Well, this one can do that, and super easily, which is so nice. And that is the reason that I have it mounted at the front of this shelf, so that I can have it pointed backwards. Right now I've just got cactus and succulents here, so it doesn't really matter, but in the future, if I have leafy plants there and I want them to all be like facing out nicely, this will be a really great option, like a really great setup for that. It's also dimmable, and it works by touch. You can actually tap this to, oh, it has to go like this. Oh my gosh, it worked like that. I didn't know that. I thought you had to use 2 fingers. What? Oh my gosh, I'm learning things. That's crazy. Wait. That works so much better. I don't know if you can tell on screen, but it's dimming. I've been using the touch wrong this whole time, I think, you guys. Oh my gosh. So I think that that's all the way dim. I was doing it like this before. Oh, it's still working. I honestly didn't know you could just do it on one side like that though. What the heck? So I was gonna say that the touch has been kind of finicky for me, but perhaps it's because I've been doing it wrong this whole time. Anyways, it is cool that it's dimmable. Do I really care about the being able to like touch on and off? Not, I mean, that is cool, but this is on a timer, so I don't utilize that a lot. However, if I did just have to quickly turn this off, I like that there is a way for me to just be able to do that without having to go and fiddle with my whole like mess of cords down there. I keep it on full strength because like obviously there's cactus and succulents mostly down here, but it's nice that you could dim it to work in a variety of setups. It also, I got the white one. Ouch, oh my gosh, I literally just stabbed myself on that cactus. Okay, I got the white one, but it does come in black as well with both or all Soltech lights. Sometimes they do other colors as well, which is fun. Same with the Rousseau light that I was showing you, that also comes in black or white as well. So this is one of 3 Soltech lights in my home, and they do reign supreme as my favorite grow light brand that I've ever tried. They have such a beautiful, warm, cozy light to them. The first light that I tried from them was my aspect light, which is in the bedroom, and we'll see that later. But all of their lights just have this beautiful, inviting, like warm, it just like, it changes the room honestly, which you'll see more in the bedroom. But yeah, I love their color temperature. It is just so good. They really nailed it. And of course, just super high quality. This is a beautiful aluminum body again. Has, I believe, 5-year warranty. And I just find that all of my Soltech lights work very, very well for my plants. Are they pricey? Yes. But do I think that they are worth it? Also, yes. Oh yeah, I also liked the mounting options. I was able to just screw this, can you see? I was able to just screw this into the shelf, which was nice, but it also came with like adhesive, sticky things. And yeah, I don't know, I just like this style of being able to mount it like that. As for cons, the only things that I had for that is just the price. Obviously a lot out of a lot of people's budgets. And I also wrote that I wish that they had maybe a bit longer of an option. This is just, how big is this? 16 inches? I think so. But yeah, it would be nice if they had a longer option. Maybe they will in the future though. I was so mad the other day because I knocked down these trays of my baby Thanksgiving cactus propagations. And as you can see, some of them are looking sad from that, which really, really sucks. I think this one's dead. Oh shoot, that one's a goner. Lots of them are still looking okay, but yeah, that was a big bummer. Anyways, my plants are doing pretty well under this light. Okay, and then I do have a light here in this little begonia greenhouse setup. This setup is relatively new. Well, it's actually quite new to me as well. However, I've used the barrina lights for several months now, and we've already talked about them when we were looking at the vittsjo shelves over there, so I'm not really going to talk too much more about it. This is the 2-foot option. It fits nicely in this akerbar greenhouse. This is the larger akerbar greenhouse of the 2, and so far it's working really well. I don't even know if a lot of these begonias need that much light, but honestly they seem to be thriving. Again, I can't really talk to like longevity, my experience over time, because this is like a new setup, but so far these begonias are doing really well with that. The only thing is that this isn't waterproof and this can get quite humid, like in the 90s. So I would prefer to have a waterproof light in there, but this is just what I had kicking around, an extra light bar. So yeah, that's that. And then in the living room, again, I just have 2 more Mother Plant Spectrum 32s. I have one that I'm using vertically here to supplement light to mainly my monstera Thai constellation. That's the plant that I'm really like concerned about getting light. But I also now have my philodendron tortum there as well, which is benefiting from some of that light. And then I also have another Plant Spectrum 32 in my milsbo wide. Oh yeah, 32. So in the milsbo tall, the 16s fit, but in the wide, the 32 Plant Spectrum 32 light fits in here. Again, I have a whole video installing this light and like setting up this cabinet if you are interested in that. My goodness, I need to wash the glass, don't I? Look at that. Yikes. This light, I actually ended up having some problems with it staying mounted to the top of the cabinet, and I ended up using a product called, oh gosh, what is it called again? This stuff, nano tape. This is the only thing that has been able to keep that light up in that cabinet. I originally tried it with just like 5M sticky stuff and it came down. I also tried magnets and it came down. The like glue to hold the magnet on didn't stay. I think that it's trickier to get lights mounted in cabinets sometimes because the humidity can get quite high and it kind of like breaks down the adhesive. But the nano tape has worked great. I highly recommend that. I also use it for some of my barrina lights on the shelf that had come down as well. And I'm using it to keep the light up in the greenhouse there. But yeah, overall, I've been super happy with having this light in this cabinet. Works great. Again, I can have plants really close to the top because it doesn't burn. And then I can also have plants lower down and they do really well also. This cabinet's a hot mess right now, so don't look too closely at the plants. But as for the light, it's been working great for me. And I've had that cabinet up and running for a couple of years now. Okay, so now we're in the office and I just have this little propagation station kind of set up here with these just literally random lights. I don't even know why I chose. Actually, I think I do. I think I discovered why I chose these ones when I was like finding all the information for all of these lights. I think, so these are Moya brand strip lights. And I think that I chose them rather than the 1 foot barrinas because they're 16 inches rather than 12, so they just cover the width of this shelf more nicely. That's the only reason I can come up with as to why I chose these, because I've literally never heard of them before, never heard of anyone else using them, and I don't really remember why I picked them, but that's just the conclusion that I'm coming to, is because they're 16 inches long. So I do have 2 of them on each shelf here, and I think that so 2 of them like attach to one cord, I think. Yeah, they connect right here and then it just goes to one cord that you plug in. So I have 2 more down here, and honestly, for these being just random lights off of Amazon, these work amazing. Like, I've been really happy with them. My propagations grow under them. Yeah, they've been fine. These were pretty cheap, I think. I don't really know too much about them. They do have a built-in timer as well. Where's the thing? Right here. There's a built-in timer. These are on 12 hours, and you can, oh yeah, you can have just like one on, switch them. You can, is that it? I guess that's it. Oh no, you can dim them too. So that's nice. The only problem that I've had with these so far is that I think that they came with like an adapter to get plugged in, and then the adapter broke, so I ended up having to just use the USB thing. I think I remember that happening, but I'm not 100% sure. If they did come with an adapter, it broke, or one of them broke, and I just ended up using it that way. I was just looking for a cheap option that fit this shelf, and this is what I found, and so far so good. Okay, so now we are entering the last room with grow lights. There's 3 grow lights in here that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to start with perhaps my favorite grow light in this whole entire house, and that is my Soltech Highland track system. This has 3 lights on it, pointing at my beautiful Wally Grow plant wall. I have 5 planters here on this wall housing some beautiful syndapsis and, syndapsis, but some beautiful philodendron and 1 syndapsis pot. It is now a mixed pot. I used to just have syndapsis argyrius in here, but now I'm adding some other varieties. Anyways, this video is not about the plants themselves, it's about the light. So back to the Soltech Highland. Yes, so we installed this, I think in the fall, maybe in like October or November, and yeah, I am just obsessed with it. It works so perfectly for this plant wall. Like, I have never seen plants thrive or like just start growing as much as these plants have. It's crazy. I actually just gave them a haircut yesterday. So they used to be a lot longer, like literally touching the ground, but I gave them a haircut. This is where my partner sits down and reads in the evening, and he was literally fighting with these vines because they were growing like just so far that they were just so in the way, so I had to give them all a haircut. They still look super good. But yeah, just the growth that I have gotten on these plants ever since installing this grow light is just insane. Like, there's growth points just everywhere. I get beautiful coloring on my neon philodendron here. It is just, oh my goodness. Yeah, they look so incredible, and I've just been so happy with this light. I knew it was gonna work well because it's a Soltech, but I didn't know it was gonna work this well, okay? And why it's my favorite is because it is just so up and out of the way. I love that it's mounted on the ceiling, and you can actually customize these so you can choose whether you want wide beam or narrow beam lights. So you can actually have like a Highland on your ceiling and have it working for plants that are pretty far away, because you can get the narrow beam, and I think that goes up to 10 feet. So you can make it work for a variety of setups. I have the wide beam since since this is relatively close to these plants and I didn't want to, you know, absolutely scorch them. And I chose 3 lights. You can do between 1 and 4 lights on this track, black or white. I also have the corded option. You can see I ran the cord over there. It's actually kind of, I need to retuck it. It's kind of falling out right there. But there's also a hardwired version that you can get, but I just, you know, I'm not an electrician, so I just got the corded version, and that works great for me. Installing this light honestly changed the vibe of the whole room. Like, it's so warm and cozy. I love how it creates this kind of little display planty area. Yeah, it's so aesthetically pleasing. I love it so much. I honestly can't say enough good things about it. The big con with this is that it is very pricey. This thing has a freaking steep price tag. I know that this is like a luxury grow light item. I'm very aware of that. It is not cheap, but I cannot deny how much I love it. So that's the biggest con for this, is just the price. And then other things I could think of is it would be nice if it was adjustable in some way, like if it were dimmable. You can obviously adjust each light, like you can move them around on here and like point them in different directions, but as for like the brightness, that's not adjustable. And I also wish that Soltech would add an on-off switch onto their cords. They come with really nice long cords, all of their lights, but they don't have any type of switch. So when I want this to be off, it is on a timer, but sometimes I'm like getting into bed earlier and this isn't off yet, and I don't want it to be like, you know, I don't want it to feel like it's daylight in the room when I'm trying to wind down, if I'm having a really early night. So I'll just have to unplug that from the wall, which is kind of annoying. Like, I wish there was just a switch, but obviously that's being kind of nitpicky. And then moving over here, we have another Soltech light. This is actually the first Soltech light that I got from them, that I tried out, and that made me fall in love with them as a grow light brand. And that is my aspect light. This is the larger version, so it's the 40-watt one, I believe. And it is also hanging on a Soltech mount. That is their Pinocchio mount. Comes in different colors. The light comes in different colors too. So in my old place, I had this just hanging from the ceiling, but since the ceilings are higher in this place, I wanted to just have it on the wall, and it's nice that it's on that like adjustable kind of mount. I could bring it up higher or bring it down lower if I wanted to. I've had my aspect light for a while, but I hadn't installed it in this new home until recently, so it's really nice to have it back up and running again. It is very bright, like I said, and I've actually had really good experience growing succulents under my aspect light. Like, for example, my Euphorbia White Ghost did really well under here. That's the only grow light I've ever been able to get that plant to grow under. So I decided to utilize this light for my monkey tail cactus. I'm hoping that this light is going to be bright enough to get this guy to thrive. I feel like it will be, but we'll see how it goes. It's only been set up for about a month here. But yeah, it is a really bright light. Again, you have to be careful of scorching plants, so I would never want, like, you know, something like this, my Philodendron gloriosum, I would never want that as close as this cactus is. Obviously this plant needs a lot more light though, so that's why it's set up the way it is. But yeah, it's a beautiful light, and I've loved it for a couple of years now since I got it. And then lastly, this is the very last grow light that I'm going to talk about, and it's such a random one. This is another random Amazon light that I purchased, and it's just this kind of like halo style light, as you can see. I actually couldn't even find like a current link of this one. Like, I could see this in my order history, but there was no option to buy it currently. However, there are a lot of similar ones, so I'll link one that's similar. This one is actually staked right into the pot. But I've noticed that a lot of the like newer versions of this style of light are either like they have little plates that they are attached to that the pot sits on top of, or they clip onto the pot, something like that, which is, you know, I guess a little bit more sturdy than the stake, but this has honestly worked well for me. I think that this light costs around $20, and it's been well worth it for me. Like, I love it so much. The literal only plant that I've ever had this light used on is my asparagus fern, but she loves it. Like, look at her, living her best life, like so much new growth. Yeah, she thrives under here. She does amazing. So yeah, she's very happy with her just random little halo light. And it also works as a great little bedside lamp. There's different light settings on this one as well, and there's also a timer. It has a similar little like cord switch thing as the last random Amazon light that I had to show you. But yeah, I don't know, it's very handy, and I have no experience with it with other plants, but for my asparagus fern, she has just been living her best life. Okay, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that we made it through all of my lights. All 34 of my lights. That is just craziness. So I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that it is going to serve as a reference point for y'all to look back on. I'm also planning on uploading an updated full plant tour, going through every single plant in my collection soon. Sorry, the dogs are getting off the couch. So I feel like this video is going to pair really well with that one, because you'll be able to, or like, you know, whoever watches that video is going to be able to jump to this video and kind of hear more in depth and get more information on all of my grow lights, because I obviously use a lot of them. I would not be able to grow plants, like as many plants as I do, and as well, I mean, well, do I grow them well? Some of them I grow well, but some of them are, you know, but I would not be growing plants the way I am without any of these lights. And yeah, it's fun to try out new ones. It's fun to kind of challenge myself to set them up in an aesthetically pleasing way. Yeah, if you have any questions, leave them down below. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, okay. Whew, I'm out of breath now. Okay, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.